In Web 2, we're going to make a page starting with the Bootstrap template that I have zipped. So I've attached a zip file with the Bootstrap template, which where's it at here? Looks like this. It's basically all set to go, but nothing is on it in between the body here. But yet it's all kind of connected to Bootstrap because there's a CSS folder. You're actually going to make a new CSS file for this project, and I forget what it's called, single underscore product dot CSS, and this is the one that designs and colors and the page and the modal. Okay, so but I always want you to start here. I'm always going to give it to you, and my expectation is you're always going to start from scratch and type out stuff. So we are going to create a page like this. I'm going to give you this image of a box that's all cleaned up. I cleaned it up in Photoshop, and not all of us have Photoshop. So I'm attaching that as a PNG file. That's the one you're going to place on your web page. Notice there's a button too. In Bootstrap, you can use the button tag, and it'll kind of design a simple button for you. We have a price of this. It says it's $12.78, which is one expensive box. But anyways, notice that when I mouse over, my mouse turns into a hand, and there's a drop shadow that appears that we do with CSS. We talk to this IMG, this image, and we do something we really haven't done with a drop shadow. So, and then when I click it, the page fades away, and there's a modal that shows up, and the modal has a heading on it in the modal header area, and then in the modal body, which is this main area here, we have an image of the same product. We have Latin text that wraps around the image, so thus we float the image. We have two buttons. One is buy now, one is add to cart, and then at the bottom of the modal there is a modal footer area. So this is the modal header up top here. This is the modal body, the main part of the modal, and this is the modal footer. We can design each part of it, and it has a close button. Now you can click, here's a close button here, but there's also a close button here if you can see it. And then if I also just click twice, the modal goes away. So it kind of works in many different ways. These are all fake. They're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to be able to buy or add to cart or whatever. But we're going to create this. And then eventually, after this, we're going to have 4 images all in a row in column 3s. And you can have 4 different images to click. So we're going to basically build a larger product page. All right, so that's what we're building. So let me just, again, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to type out. I'm going to talk about the coding. All that I'm going to ask you is 2 things. You start from the Bootstrap template that I've given you, and you type out everything I have exactly on my page. Okay? And I want you to stop and start the video, and I'm going to talk about what I did, why I did it. But it'll be much quicker, I think, for you. So here is, again, the template. I've added, here's the link relationship that makes the Bootstrap work. There's a Bootstrap min file.css file in a CSS folder. So we're saying, hey, what this web page is, there's a folder called CSS. / means go inside of it, find the Bootstrap min.css file, and link to it. We're also doing the same thing. We're creating our own single underscore product.css file, and we're placing it in the CSS folder. And we're going to do that on the second video. All right, so we're going to start right here, right below the body. And I'm going to show you the coding, and all I want you to do is start and stop the page. Let me make sure that I'm in toggle soft wrap. Now I have paragraphs of Latin text, and if you need it, Latin text, I'll try to remember a link, but it's Lipsum, if you're not using Atom, Lipsum.com, and you can go down here and you can generate Latin text and then just highlight some of that, copy it, and use it for your pages. All right? So let me go into the coding. So here we are. Again, I have linking up to two CSS files, Bootstrap and single product CSS that maybe we haven't created yet. Don't worry about it. I closed off the head tag. Here's the body, the main part of the page. I want you to write out the comments. These comments are important. I put them there for a reason. So we're going to deal with the modal last, okay? And the modal is, you know, this thing when you click it, this is the modal. And notice that in the coding, it's first, but you don't see it. So, I guess why not? We'll actually code the modal first, and then we'll code the page, because I have it in. I always do that with sequential order. I always put modals first. So again, I want you to copy everything I have, and I would maybe start it here, and hopefully you can read that. To stop the video, notice I have an ID of box 1, and we're going to talk to that, and that's what's going to make the modal work. So we're actually going to type out the modal first, okay? And it's going to all work because we have an ID name of box 1. And then we're going to make a comment. Here's the modal content, the header, the body, and the footer. And we start out with the modal content, and then inside of it is the modal header. And then we have a button, and that button is the little X on the right that basically is clickable and closes the modal. And then underneath that, notice we have an H4 tag with a class name of modal title, and it's called box 1. All right? So again, just stop the video, and I want you to type out everything down to there. And then when you're done, I'm going to scroll down here a little bit. Actually, let me get my soft wrap here. Okay. And then the modal body. So we just did the modal content and the modal header. Okay. And then inside the modal content, just below the modal header, is the modal body. And that's the main part of the modal that includes the box1.png. Okay. And notice the box1 PNG is, I placed it exactly where this web page is. It's not looking for a folder or anything. Most of the time I put it in a folder called img, so I have the name of the folder img / box1.png, but I didn't do that. So just here's the modal body. Give me a second here. So this is all the modal body, and this is just Latin text right here. But you want to make sure you have all the correct class names, lead space modal p, and that lead is a Bootstrap class that it recognizes and makes this text cleanable, much more readable, and a little bit larger, and changes the font. This modal p, M-O-D-A-L-P, that I have, that I'm going to talk to that on my own style sheet, the CSS file that we create, and design the paragraph a little bit better. And then we have a button. So this button is going to say this is the Buy Now button, as you can tell. And we haven't done a lot of this. So again, this is all in the modal body. And then we have another button called Add to Cart. Okay? So just, again, take your time. Try to type it out as best you can. Try to get exactly all my class names and everything. Okay, and that's the modal body. That's the main part of the modal. And then the bottom part of the modal is right here, but I'm going to show you, this is all the closing of the modal here. In fact, let me include the comment to end the modal. Again, these comments are very important. It's very normal in a professional environment to have lots of comments. So when you hand off your coding or your project to somebody, which you typically will, they know exactly where things are and it's all organized. So I'm going to get you to really focus in on those comments. But I've highlighted the footer, the modal footer, the bottom part, and it has a close button, a word that says close, and I can click it and it'll close it. Okay? Again, you want to stop the video and just get exactly what I've gotten. Now, this is where our page starts. This was all the modal up here. Again, here's the body tag. The first thing I did was to put the modal coding in. But notice that the modal doesn't show up until we click the box. So all this coding doesn't appear anywhere on the page until we click this thing. We click this thing on our page that is looking for box 1. And that is right here. Here's an A tag, and see this number sign, box 1? So when I click this button, it's going to look for this ID name on the page, and sure enough, that's the ID of our modal. But this modal doesn't appear until we click and make it appear. All right, so now we're all the way down here, believe it or not. Again, just stop and start the video at your leisure. And here's, again, another comment, start of the main container of the page. All right. And then the first thing we're going to do is, again, Bootstrap is all about divs, containers, rows, and columns. So here is the first row, and it's just a large heading that I placed in the middle. And the reason it's placed in the middle is because there's a Bootstrap class name called text-center that it recognizes, and anything in the column will be placed in the center of the column area. Notice I don't do that to the row. I found that the text-center, it has a hard time with that. So I always talk to the column. If I want to place something in the middle of that column, I say text-center. But that's the heading right there. That's our, here's the opening of the container, the first row, column 12, header. Notice the class name header. I'm going to talk to it later. H1 tag. Closing of the column, closing of the row. Okay, and then the second row is this right here. And notice I have a comment. I made a comment because the way this thing works is the A tag here is placed around the image. Here's the image right here. Okay? And because the A tag is around it, that means the whole image is clickable. All right? So again, here's the second row. And let me go down here. So this is everything in that row right there. So you can, again, stop the video and try to type out all the comments exactly as I have them. Notice the comments are an angle bracket, exclamation, dash, dash to start the comment. I type out what I want the comment to say, and then when I'm done with the the typing out of the comment, to stop the comment, I say dash, dash, angle bracket, the other angle bracket, and it stops the comment. And notice it's grayed out. So the comment, that means the coding is not going to read the comment, but it's there to be read by the person coding. All right. You could change the number if you want. I don't know why I have $12.78, but you want to make sure, take your time and see what these classes are, where it says btn space btn-info space btn-lg. Okay, you just want to make sure all of that is exact. And again, here's the target, box 1, and that has to do with the modal, has an ID of box 1. So This is when I made this little button that says $12.78. That also, if you click it, it does the same thing as clicking the image, where it'll open up the modal. Okay. And here, I guess I should have highlighted this too. Here's the closing of the main container. So there's only two rows in the main container, one for the heading and one for the image that has a drop shadow on it. All right. So go ahead and again type that out. Take your time. And you might have to stop and start and rewind and make sure just everything is correct. Again, you want to make sure all these class names have the correct space in between them, and the words are correct and all of that. And it should work just like mine. All right, thanks. So this is the first video of 2, and the next video will do all of the CSS.